making headlines tonight. The Prime Minister and his wife all smiles as they get their third dose of AstraZeneca. Khmer students demonstrate their ingenuity and skills, showing off their passenger drone in Phnom Penh. And the stars hit the red carpet for New York's first post-pandemic Met Gala. This is the Daily Roundup on the EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Andrew Barnes-Roberts. Prime Minister Honsen, together with his wife Bunrani Honsen, received their booster shots on Tuesday morning. The Prime Minister took to Facebook to share the news, saying that booster shots have already been administered to almost 780,000 people. He says the royal government has decided to administer booster shots 4 to 6 months after initial vaccination. The Prime Minister shared pictures of the third doses being administered by doctors at his home in Kante. It is not known which vaccine was given to the Prime Minister and his wife, but they were originally vaccinated with AstraZeneca, suggesting they may have received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine as a booster shot. They are over 60 years old and outside the recommended age range for Sinovac or Sinopharm. The Prime Minister did announce on Sunday, though, that the 3 million additional doses of vaccines to be donated by China will be allotted for booster shots as the country works towards fully vaccinating 12 million citizens over the age of 12, with booster shots also allowed for. The kingdom only needs to secure a further 3 million doses of vaccine to have enough shots to meet that target.
A video of Prime Minister Hun Sen speaking to former Cambodia National Rescue Party members online has leaked in social media. The Prime Minister was telling the former opposition members to stop insulting and making propaganda against the government. The Zoom group meeting was led by the former CNRP members of the parliament, Long Ri. Prime Minister Hun Sen has informed the group that he knew everything about their plan. He says, "If you want to come back to Cambodia and unite with us, then stop insulting the government. Stop making propaganda." The Prime Minister has urged them to stop politicizing the government's movement. He says, "You insult too much. When are your propagandas will end? Now you want to return to the country and unite."
ការធ្វើនយោបាយបើសិនជាអាចធ្វើទៅរួចគឺបើឈប់ការជេរគ្នាទៅនឹងគឺជាចំណុច ព្រោះអស់លោកជេរទៅវាជេរច្រើនពេកហើយអាវប្បធម៌លៀបពណ៌ដល់ពេលណា
Long Ri has defended his group, saying that their leaders had never insulted and made any political propaganda against the government. Instead, he blamed his subordinates and other members. He says, "It's very difficult to control people. It is not as easy as controlling a machinery. When we try to control the West, then something comes from the East. We also understand what virtue is, what value is, and we never manipulated the mindset of the Cambodian people." Prime Minister Hun Sen has emphasized that what had happened are mistakes of the weak leaders in managing their people. He says, "You are leaders, yet you cannot control your people. It's not about weakness, but it is a virtue, a human morality. And I think now those who are here in this meeting will be able to understand." After the Supreme Court dissolved the CNRP on 16 November 2017, several opposition leaders fled abroad to form movements and other activities against the Cambodian government. Some of them were indicted in the court. They continue to monitor the government's movement through its network in the country. This has pushed the Cambodian government to take a series of preventive measures aiming to maintain stability.
Phnom Penh secondary schools reopen on Wednesday after a 7-month-long hiatus caused by the 20 February community transmission event. Ahead of the big day, the Ministry of Education has released guidelines, the most startling of which is that returning students must present their vaccination cards when arriving at their schools. The ministry says unvaccinated children must continue to study online. EAC News reporter Reo Soko has the details.
The royal government started providing vaccines to children aged 12 to 17 at the beginning of August. This was to prepare for the reopening of schools, which will happen on Wednesday. On Monday, the Ministry of Education released guidelines saying that for children in that age group who have not been vaccinated, there'll be no going back to class, at least for now. The same goes for unvaccinated teachers who will need to continue teaching online. Other guidelines include classroom attendance capped at no more than 15, a stock of rapid test kits to be available at all times in the event of a suspected COVID-19 case, and parents being urged to provide their children with a packed lunch instead of allowing them to buy food outside school premises. The Ministry of Education has also emphasized mental health by making sure students get enough rest, regular exercise, and a proper diet. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
Cambodia's healthcare workers have been busier on Tuesday than they were on Monday. The number of active COVID-19 cases continues to climb. 3,821 patients are currently receiving treatment either at home or in hospital. The cases are climbing because new daily cases are still outpacing the number of patients discharged. 657 new cases were confirmed by the Health Ministry on Tuesday morning. That's against 578 patients whose treatment has been completed. 9 patients have lost their lives overnight. The new cases take to 100,790 the country's total number of COVID-19 cases. The death toll has reached 2,058. The number of successful treatments is now at 94,904. The United States Embassy in Cambodia has pledged to continue supporting the kingdom's fight against COVID-19. This was announced during Tuesday's virtual media briefing, joined by the World Health Organization, UNICEF, as well as the Ministry of Health. U.S. Ambassador W. Patrick Murphy has also announced that they will be providing 100,000 sets of PPE to Cambodia's HIV healthcare facilities over the next week. Ministry of Health spokesperson Dr. Van Dien says the U.S. Embassy's contribution is a huge help. EAC News reporter Rhea Soko attended that briefing.
The Health Ministry's Dr. Van Dien has expressed gratitude to the U.S. Embassy for its essential partnership with Cambodia since 1992. U.S. Ambassador W. Patrick Murphy stressed that they will continue to provide help. Since the outbreak, the U.S. has already provided supplemental funding of over $15 million in direct support to Cambodia's fight against COVID-19. In July, over 1 million doses of the single-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine were provided by the U.S. through the COVAX initiative. When asked if the U.S. will provide more vaccines to Cambodia, Ambassador Murphy says that it will be up to COVAX, which they are working very closely.
The United States is working very closely through the COVAX mechanism, which is a global mechanism partnering with countries to identify where the needs are for vaccines. So that will be a conversation between Cambodia and the COVAX facility. The United States is a huge donor to COVAX with cash, $4 billion, and a continual supply of vaccinations. But it's that mechanism that identifies where the needs are most pressing and most urgent. So that really is between Cambodia and COVAX.
UNICEF representative Foro Fuyusat has confirmed that more vaccines are coming to Cambodia through COVAX.
Is going to receive more vaccines through COVAX. And as Mr. Ambassador mentioned, the U.S. government is the largest donor there, both in Q3 and also already for Q4, there has been communication to Ministry of Health, and it's currently for the ministry's decision how to avail of the Q4 share through COVAX. Over.
As of Monday, Cambodia has already vaccinated 97.58% of the targeted 10 million population, while 71.79% of its total 16 million population, including children aged 12 to 17, have been fully vaccinated. The kingdom is using Sinovac, Sinopharm, AstraZeneca, and Johnson & Johnson vaccines for inoculation. In July, the Ministry of Health announced that private companies may now import and distribute COVID-19 vaccines for use by private healthcare facilities, provided those vaccines are WHO approved. EAC News asked the Health Ministry on the progress of allowing private companies to import vaccines which are not available in Cambodia. Dr. Van Dien has answered that the private companies and hospitals who have shown an interest are in the procurement process. She says the government is now aiming for a new normal and already well prepared to open up some sectors, including tourism. But the reopening of tourism will depend on people's cooperation. WHO representative in Cambodia, Dr. Lee Ailan, also says that right now, the priority in Cambodia is to respond to the Delta variant.
We had the good news that our transmission not very high level, not very high, but it's too early to conclude. So the top priority that WHO advised and is supporting to the government, in particular Ministry of Health, is really to have effective implementation of a combination of three things. First, effective non-pharmaceutical intervention. Second, speed up the vaccination program to reach all the vulnerable population, protect all the vulnerable. Thirdly, is the healthcare capacity strengthening, including ICU capacity. I think this is a top priority. However, it's the best opportunity to plan for the reopening, including the opening border for the tourism.
Ailan has emphasized that the WHO, Ministry of Health, and other sectors are currently discussing the option of living with the virus in a new normal. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
Safety standards for Cambodia's agricultural products are being negotiated with China to boost exports. The issue was discussed during Tuesday's 7th ASEAN-China ministerial meeting on what's known as phytosanitary cooperation, which essentially deals with pest control. Cambodia was represented at Tuesday's meeting by Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, Veng Sakon, who chaired the meeting with China's Deputy Minister of Customs, Wang Lingjun. This group of ministers meets every 2 years to discuss agricultural trade between China and the ASEAN bloc. By the time the next meeting is held in 2023, Cambodia's agricultural exports with China particularly should be booming. Currently, Cambodia exports milled rice, fresh bananas, dried cassava slices, and fresh mangoes to China. Other products listed as potentials include longan and durian. But it is mango exports that are already on the rise. They were up 251% year-on-year over the first 8 months of 2021. Almost 164,000 tons were shipped between January and August. Over the same time frame, the kingdom exported just over 14,000 tons of mango jam and over 4,000 tons of mango syrup. China is already among the main markets, having approved imports of Cambodian mangoes earlier this year. With pest control standards now being negotiated with China for other fruits, it would seem Cambodia's farmers have it all to look forward to. What looks like a vehicle from the Jetsons cartoon is now a Khmer reality. A passenger-carrying drone has been built by students from the National Polytechnic Institute of Cambodia, and it's been getting a lot of attention both on and off campus. EAC News reporter Yuri Matosko went along to have a look for himself.
The future has come to Cambodia, and it comes from Cambodia. This 2.5-meter drone can fit one person and can fly for 10 minutes. It's a result of teamwork from both mechanical and electronic students, with 2 permanent students and 4 assistants helping with the welding and wiring. They say the drone took 1 year to build. We interviewed the 2 permanent students coordinating the experiment.
Can you tell me, is it hard to control it?
It's easy, yes, for me.
For you, because you practice a lot, right?
Yeah. When I'm inside the drone, my feeling is excited.
Person of my weight, I have a little bit more than 60 kilograms. Can I go inside and pilot as well?
We testing for a lot of time. I mean, for 46 time. Yeah, and we see like we cannot put the load after 60 kilogram. So you cannot. And in the future, we can put after, yeah. more than 60 kilogram.
The general mechanic of the invention, Troy Sutiera, told EAC News they had teacher supervision from the institute.
We have two teachers to help this project and support her. And one from electronic engineer, his name is Saran Srivata, and one more teacher is Ho Sok On, he's from mechanical engineering.
Now, can you explain me better how it works the propellers of the drone, because they turn around very fast?
About our propeller is we sync it with the motor and we take it to part. First is the top part of motor with propeller, and second is under part. For the first part is top part. Our top motor it's working by clockwise, and under part is working by counterclockwise.
Oh, I see. So the top part goes clockwise and the bottom part goes other side.
The general mechanic shared his expectations for the new invention. He hopes that it can be used by firefighters and maybe one day as a passenger vehicle to ease traffic congestion.
This invention behind me shows just how much potential Cambodian students have. It also demonstrates that everything is possible when teachers, students, and their institutions come together to build great things. Yuri Matosco, EAC News, Phnom Penh.
Now for a look at news making headlines around the world this Tuesday, the 14th of September.
2 fishing boats have been rescued by the Vietnamese Coast Guard in the wake of Tropical Storm Konson. The first vessel with 5 fishermen was rescued 45 kilometers off Lisun Islands after they went adrift from Da Nang. The other boat, with 13 crew aboard, was found 27 kilometers out to sea. All crew members were given first aid and tested for COVID-19 before their vessels were brought back to shore. Local authorities have warned that the risk of floods and landslides triggered by Konson remain high, even as the system weakened off the country's central coast. Heavy rain brought by the storm has killed at least 1 person, damaged dozens of homes, and flooded more than 1,000 hectares of rice fields.
Emergency services continue to battle flames as devastating wildfires flare up in Spain. The uncontrollable 6-day fire could be seen from kilometers away near the town of Bojera, where many residents have been evacuated. The Prime Minister has deployed the military emergency unit to help tackle the blaze. The fire has torched more than 6,000 hectares. 365 firefighters are on the front line, supported by 41 aircraft and 25 vehicles. At the same time, firefighting crews in Southern California are trying to contain a wildfire that broke out in the hills above Los Angeles County near a major freeway. The so-called Root Fire is burning along both sides of the Golden State 5 freeway. The Angeles National Forest says the fire is 0% contained. 2 firefighters have suffered serious burns. The cause of the fire has not been determined. California's latest bushfire came a day after Governor Gavin Newsom toured communities devastated by the state's raging wildfires. He says the record-breaking fire season should end all debate over climate change.
And protests in France against a new COVID-19 vaccine passport mandate have escalated. The health pass or a recent negative COVID test are required to enter cafes, restaurants, and many other public places. Protesters claim it amounts to discrimination towards unvaccinated citizens. The Interior Ministry says over 120,000 people had gone on the march across France, 19,000 of them in the capital, Paris, where police made 85 arrests.
The UEFA Champions League gets underway on Tuesday night. We'll have all the details for you after the break. EAC News fully supports the Royal Government of Cambodia's preventative and administrative measures against COVID-19. But we need you to play your part in helping bring the 20 February community transmission event to an end. Wash your hands regularly, sanitize wherever possible. Keep an eye on your body temperature. Use the Stop COVID QR code and maintain a safe social distance. But above all, please, 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 wear a mask. Only together can we beat COVID-19. EAC News' audience is growing. Our YouTube channel has over 150,000 verified subscribers. To mark the milestone, we've received the Silver Creator Award from YouTube. It's given to channels with over 100,000 subscribers. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki says the award celebrates EAC News' hard work and incredible achievement. She says we brought a unique voice and style to the world, but have also created valuable connections and built a community along the way. The next milestone we're going for is 1 million subscribers, and we'd really like that Gold Creator Award. So if you're not already a subscriber, head to YouTube and search for EAC News. Subscribers get alerts when the Daily Roundup is premiering and live events are streaming. Get all the latest breaking news and updates from Cambodia in English. The EAC News channel on YouTube. Cambodia made clear. If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me, Andrew Barnes-Roberts, and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear. Chelsea midfielder N'Golo Kante will not be involved in the club's Champions League opener against Zenit St. Petersburg on Tuesday night. Manager Thomas Tuchel says Kante will miss the Group H clash owing to an ankle injury. Kante has been struggling with the ankle injury all season. He was substituted at half-time against Liverpool before the international break when the problem flared up again. He subsequently missed France's World Cup qualifiers. Chelsea has been hoping he'd be back in action against Zenit. Tuchel addressed reporters ahead of Tuesday's match at Stamford Bridge, saying he expects the 30-year-old to return for the club's next Premier League fixture on Sunday.
N'Golo had 2 training sessions yesterday and today, but Champions League game comes a bit too early. We don't take the risk now at this moment of the season. So we decided to give him another load tomorrow in training. Then he will have a day off with all of us. And then he will rejoin team training on Thursday, Friday, Saturday to be absolutely fit for and ready for Tottenham game.
Tuchel added that Chelsea will also be without American forward Christian Pulisic, with him also recovering from an ankle injury. Tuesday night also sees Bayern Munich and their goal-scoring star Robert Lewandowski begin their quest for a 7th European crown. They head to Barcelona for their Group E clash in the UEFA Champions League. All focused in training on their home ground on Monday before making the trip south to Spain. Bayern go into the clash as favourites, having dented Barca's dream of success in the Champions League 13 months ago when they beat them 8-2. It was Barca's heaviest ever European defeat. But Bayern coach Julian Nagelsmann says the question over whether or not they're favourites is up to the media. All eyes will be on his star player, though, best FIFA men's player Lewandowski. He's currently on a club record run. He scored in each of his last 17 competitive appearances going all the way back to February. He also notched up 6 goals in the first 4 matches of the 2021-22 Bundesliga campaign. With Lionel Messi now at Paris Saint-Germain, this will be the first time Bayern have faced Barcelona without the Argentine since November 1998. The new queen of tennis, 18-year-old Emma Raducanu, has it all to play for. Having stunned the sport by winning the US Open on Saturday, she's not just become the first qualifier ever to win a Grand Slam tournament, but also the first British woman to lift a major tennis trophy since Virginia Wade in 1977. While she settles down after a historic win at Flushing Meadows, she's finding the world at her feet. Holding her US trophy with pride, and rightly so, having just made tennis history. Emma Raducanu's astonishing US Open triumph could lead to a pot of gold worth over $25 million over the next 2 years, and that could be just the start. Her mixed Romanian-Chinese heritage and an engaging personality make her what those sports marketing people like to call brand gold.
I think what the actual victory does for her is actually takes her beyond tennis. A lucrative sponsorship deal she'll get just from being affiliated to tennis. So kit supplier deal, rackets deal, there'll be a trainer supplier, all of those sorts of things will come naturally. But what her profile gives her now is a sort of spot beyond tennis. It's, there's going to be a luxury car partner. There's going to be a fashion brand that's going to be interested. There's probably a perfume line that's going to be interested. And so you're already sort of building up that sort of commercial footprint way beyond merely sport.
If she can make this Grand Slam the first of several, then she has, as you say, no limit in terms of how much she can achieve off the court. She's going to be hugely in demand already, but I think to sort of follow that up with sustained and continued success in the majors in tennis, we'll see her rapidly become one of the most marketable athletes on the planet.
Raducanu is already a cover girl for British Vogue's October edition, and major global brands representing everything from fashion to cars and jewellery will be queuing at the doors of her management company IMG. With its global reach and exposure, tennis offers a road to riches for top female players. Of the world's 10 highest paid sportswomen, 9 play tennis. All right, let's have a look at tomorrow's weather. And finally, the biggest night in fashion was back on in New York on Monday night as the stars came out for the annual Met Gala. It was the event's first outing since 2019, with last year's event cancelled because of the pandemic. The theme was American independence. You know it's a special night in fashion when Vogue editor Anna Wintour arrives early and without her trademark sunglasses. But she was there to see as well as to be seen. Red, silver and blue ruled the Metropolitan Museum of Art at the youth-driven Met Gala, celebrating the very best of American fashion. There were show-stopping outfits from rapper Lil Nas sporting a Versace suit of gold armor, supermodel Iman stunned in a feathered gold and beige headdress and cage skirt. This year's fundraiser was chaired by 4 of the biggest Gen Z stars on the planet: actor Timothée Chalamet, singer Billie Eilish, poet Amanda Gorman, and tennis champion Naomi Osaka. The invitation-only Met Gala is a fundraising benefit for New York's Museum of Modern Art. While most guests opted for the outrageous, others went for a message, including 31-year-old Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who had "Tax the Rich" written in red across the back of her white gown. With last year's Met Gala having been cancelled because of the pandemic, Monday's event was about a third smaller than usual, with some 300 guests. They might be the biggest names in the world, but they still had to show proof of vaccination to get in. Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup here on the EAC News channel. You'll get more breaking news and updates from our website. Head to www.eacnews.asia. You can also search for EAC News on Telegram and at your favorite app store. More from the EAC News team in the Daily Roundup tomorrow night at 8. I will see you then.